I did want to introduce our next speaker, Shah Redza Hussein, who is the director of the Royal Belum State Park and other protected areas of Perak in Malaysia. Shah is an economist by training and a conservationist by passion. We love that. He has been involved in nature conservation and environmental protection for over 23 years. And in 1997, Shah left the corporate sector to join WWF Malaysia in order to learn and contribute directly to nature conservation. So today, Shah will share with us how he is working with the local Jahai Indigenous community to protect the local wildlife, in particular, saving the critically endangered Malayan tiger. Hi, Shah. How are you?
Hey, hi, Sylvia. Thank you very much. I'm fine. Thank you. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you very, very well. I'm very excited to hear what you have to say today.
All right.
Will you be presenting a slide?
Yes, I will. I'll try and share it now. Share screen. Hang on. Share screen with two monitors. Okay. All right. Can you see me?
Oh, I cannot.
Okay, hang on. How do I find my...
So there should be a share button, and then after you see share screen.
All right, share screen.
Yep.
And I go to... Oops, no. Sorry.
No problem, that's all right. Don't worry, it's been a whole year of COVID and I still am getting used to it.
All right.
I believe you should see entire screen, window, and then you just select whichever one you would like to present.
Okay. All right. And I'll go to entire screen, share. Well, nope. Wow. Okay. Nope. I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right.
Hey, Shah, I can help you out.
Okay.
If you click the entire screen,
right,
and then you'll see that the share button isn't lit up yet.
Yeah,
right
correct.
above the share button is kind of a little box, a little window that looks like your screen. If you click that first, it'll light up the share button.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
No problem.
And then how do I share my slide?
I've got it here. I can see it up now. If you just wanted to share, I think you're sharing your current page. If you wanted to switch over to the presentation that you'll be presenting. Yep.
Okay, sorry.
Amazing.
Yep.
Great.
Okay.
Over to
Sorry.
you. No problem.
All right. Can you see that?
Yes, we can. Currently, I can see your presentation on half a screen, and then also the string. Yep, that's full screen now. Amazing.
Okay, that's good. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, you can see my screen, right?
I can see your screen. You're ready to go.
Okay, I'm ready to go. Okay, thank you.
Amazing.
Okay, I'm Shah Redza. I'm from Perak State Park Corporation. Just to put things in perspective, I'd just like to share something. All right, so Perak State Parks, we basically look after, if you Kinta Nature Park, Royal Belum State Park, Pulau Sembilan State Park. Pulau Sembilan is actually a conservation island, yeah. So basically, all these parks are under the enactment. Therefore, we have full enforcement on all these parks. Besides these three parks, we also look after the Kinta Valley Geopark. We meaning the State Parks Corporation, yeah. We also look after Lenggong Geopark and and also the Lenggong UNESCO World Heritage Archaeological Site. Okay. So there's a lot on the plate, but today I'm just focusing on the Royal Belum State Park. Okay, just to give an idea where we are, you can see the map of Southeast Asia, and in that red box is where Malaysia is. Malaysia is divided between the peninsula, which is the lowest end of the continent, Asian continent, and North Borneo, we have Sabah and Sarawak. So we're divided by the South China Sea. So my presentation is on the Peninsula Malaysia. So if you look at Peninsula Malaysia, the dark green patches are uh, the protected areas. And even though we have still more than 50% forest cover, but in terms of totally protected area in Semenanjung Malaysia is very little. Okay, so sorry. So we are right at the north. You can see the circle there, Sylvia? Yep. So that's where Royal Belum is, up north. And then the biggest protected area is in our national park. But this national park encompasses 3 states. And then we have a smaller area down south. So we are the second largest protected area in the country. Right, next. What I want to emphasize here, if you look at the map in the box, Royal Belum is in the green, yeah. But we are surrounded by the blues. These blues are actually forest reserve, but they are production forests, meaning there are sustainable loggings going around here. And on our north, in Thailand, we are connected to the Banglang National Park and the Halabala Wildlife Sanctuary. So if you look in the totality, the forest reserve, the Temenggong FR, Greek FR, the FR stands for Forest Reserve, Royal Belum State Park, Banglang and Halabala Wildlife Sanctuary are a huge contiguous forest. It is connected. It is the same forest and is huge. It is almost 700,000 hectares of contiguous forest. And this is important because the wildlife, especially the large mammals, require big size forests. Royal Belum itself is 117,500 hectares. Okay, so this is Royal Belum, and we are connected to Thailand, to Banglang National Park and Halabala Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay, so next. Okay, so we go to Royal Belum State Park. Just a brief introduction. Okay, there's an elephant always greeting you guys coming to Royal Belum. We've got beautiful, beautiful waterfalls and forests. So basically, we are globally recognized as a biodiversity hotspot, an area of high conservation value. We are among the oldest and most pristine tropical rainforests in the world. We are on the tentative list of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. I'm working on the dossier now. Hopefully by 2023, we'll be a World Natural Heritage Site. We are under IUCN Category 2 National Parks. More than 3,000 species of plants documented, blah, blah, blah. We have over 120 mammal species. We have 12 out of 13 large mammals in Peninsular Malaysia. Okay, we also have 3 species of Rafflesia, the large flowers, right? And one of them, the Rafflesia azlani, is endemic to Belum Temenggong. Okay, and we have more than 120 species of birds, and we are also globally an IBA, important bird area. Okay, that's our forest. Recently, there was a flowering and masting, and it was beautiful, as you can see. Okay, so what's inside Royal Belum? Okay, so basically, we have a couple of very interesting and important stuff. We have indigenous people living in Royal Belum. Okay, the two yellow circles you see are the two main villages. One in Sungai Tiang. Sungai means river, the Tiang River, and one is in the Keja River. These are the two main settlements. There are smaller ones within the yellow circles. Okay, why are we important? We are a strategic ecosystem asset. So that's the economist in me, but it's also something that I need to say to investors and governments and business people. They always want to see why is it such important that we look after our forest. It is an asset. It's a catchment area. The Perak River, the biggest river, second longest river in Peninsular Malaysia, powers 4 hydroelectric dams. It is a source or the biggest source of raw water for the state. It is critical for irrigation and agriculture. And all the water from this one river comes from the Bellum forest. As I mentioned, we're the second largest protected area, but more importantly, we are also an area of mega biodiversity. Okay, so we are home to large mammals, the most iconic being the Malayan tiger. I shall talk about the Malayan tiger later on. We are in the tiger range landscape. So some beautiful flowers, and on the right there is a lanternbug, and on the bottom there's a spider that you can't see, it's so well camouflaged. That's a hunter spider, and the lanternbug is our iconic insect. Okay, again, three uh, big flowers. The Azlani being endemic to the locality. We've got huge wildlife, and these some of the camera traps, golden cat there, very rare. And we are home to all 10 species of hornbills in Malaysia. There are 10 species of hornbill in Malaysia. Most places have 7 or 8. But in Royal Belum, we are the capital of hornbills of Southeast Asia. We have all 10 species and 320 bird species documented. Okay, we have very important salt licks of various types. Okay, so inside Royal Belum is also the indigenous people. In Malaysia, there are 18 tribes of indigenous people, and the Jahai lives inside Royal Belum. Only the Jahais. The Jahais are direct descendants from Africa. They have the most matching DNAs to Africa. They are from the Negrito people, and they are very shy, and they do not like to leave their traditional villages. They prefer to live inside. So this is one, and this is a very important village here I am showing you, because this is where we started our anti-poaching patrolling program, which I will touch on later. Okay, these are the Jahais, and I just wanted to show this blowpipe because they have one of the most beautiful and lethal blowpipes among the indigenous people. So, and the bottom right is where they put the poison from the ipo tree. Okay, kids from the village, and then for the state parks, our engagement with the Orang Asli is constant. We look at community development, and we look at economic sustainability for them. But every project that we do with the Orang Asli or the indigenous people, we ensure that conservation values are embedded into all the projects. So this is another village, a bigger village than just now. Beautiful. Look at the forest. Okay, so the core presentation, the Jahai indigenous community and saving the Malayan tiger. This was taken during Global Tiger Day that we had. Okay, I just would like to share that the Malayan tiger is only found in the Malay Peninsula. They are not found anywhere else in the world. So Malaysia in the peninsula, right up to just south of Banglang National Park, is where the Malayan tiger is. So it is very endemic to the peninsula and is critically endangered because from the latest figures we've got from the National Tiger Survey that ended end of last year, we have less than 200 tigers left, maybe as low as 150, and that is a global number for the subspecies because you can't find the Malayan tiger elsewhere. And can you imagine the whole globe? There's less than 200 of this majestic animal. And the main reason for the decline is wildlife poaching and trafficking of wildlife, the wildlife trade. So this in the picture is the snare. This is the trap that is used, is cheap, is efficient, but is deadly. And this is the steel wire snares that is used to capture wildlife in most of the areas in Southeast Asia, including in Royal Belum State Park. This is one tiger. If you can look at the paws, it's truly sad. And the picture, the small picture on the right, shows the tiger crying when it was trying to be safe. Unfortunately for this tiger, which was found several years ago, it was too late. The wound got septic and the tiger died, despite all our effort to save him. Okay, so these are the poachers, and the hardcore poachers are syndicated poachers from Indochina. I don't have to mention countries, but they have disseminated almost all their tigers in their countries, and they are now organized by syndicates to come down into other countries where tigers are still around. These are some of the poachers we caught last year. Okay, and some pictures from our camera traps of the poachers. So what do we need to do? There is no choice but to strengthen our patrolling team. Why? Because the number of tigers, which is less than 200, is such that if we do not stem or flatten the curve of the poaching, it will come down to a number that will be unviable to repopulate. Meaning we will have tigers, but the tigers will not be able to repopulate in the wild, and therefore it will self-extinct. In Royal Belum State Park, the latest, in mid 20s, we're talking about 5, 6, 7 years ago, we had an estimated of about 60 tigers, and that is the highest density of tiger in Malaysia. But 3 years ago, we have lost 60%. We are down to about 23 tigers. But there are some positive news. So the first thing to do is to strengthen up. And in order to strengthen up, we do collaboration. Okay, we do collaboration with other NGOs, and our main collaborators for patrolling is WWF. And these are the training programs run by Pantera International for my rangers. Okay, this is how we break up the grid for patrolling. And this is the terrain that you look at to go patrolling. When the rangers go out patrolling, they spend anything between 10 to 15 days in the forest. And that's the maximum you can do. The terrain is very, very difficult. You cross hundreds of rivers and streams. You go up as high as 1,500 meters above sea level. You go down through valleys, and you face all kind of wildlife. It is a very difficult undertaking. You carry almost 30 kilos of ration to last you for 14, 15 days, and you can only do this by foot. No ranger go for patrolling more than 15 days because it's just physically exhausting. So they come out, they rest, they do light duties like looking after posts and other stuff, and then they go back in for another 10 to 15 days. It's a beautiful landscape, but it is a difficult and dangerous landscape also. Okay,
Hi,
now,
Shah.
so what?
Sorry, we've got about 1 to 2 minutes left of this segment. Just wanted to give you a heads up. We are running a little bit behind time.
Okay, but the other segment took my time.
I know,
Never
I
mind.
apologize about that one.
Yeah. So, okay, what we have done is we have teamed up with the local Jahais to form up Menrak. Menrak is the local indigenous community. Menrak means people. Okay, so these are the community from the village I showed earlier. We give them training. We give them, and once they go training, they'll go on patrolling. And this is sorry, that's too fast. This is the amount that we cover. And the result is, as you can see, last year, we brought hundreds of snares every year down to 5. And out of the 5, only 2 were active. And this year and last year and this year, we saw breeding tigers. This is a picture of a mother tiger with 3 cubs. But what I wanted to explain here is the concept of community-based conservation with the Jahais. Okay, so you cannot do conservation without the local communities. They are important people to be induced, but you can't expect the local community to do conservation work when their stomach is hungry. You can't do conservation on an empty stomach. That's what I say. So what we have done is a we have devised a program whereby when the orang asli or the indigenous Jahais goes out patrolling, they get a daily wage. So assuming they go for 10 days minimum, they get about 20 USD a day. So they have 200 USD per month, which is a lot of money in Malaysia, which is about 800 ringgit Malaysian. And that's for only 10 days work. If they go for 15 days, they get more than 1,000 ringgit, or more than 300 USD. And that is only for half a month's work. The rest of the weeks they can do other stuff. But on top of us giving them that daily wage, we also give to the villagers from a different fund, 2 USD a day for every individual that goes on patrol. So assuming there's 10 individuals, so the village gets 20 USD a day, and if the patrol goes for 10 days, the village get 200. So what I'm trying to say is the program is such that the individual villagers get their dues for doing work, but the village also gets a percentage from a different fund for their youth. The buy-in is such that the villagers see that their youth gets knowledge, get training, and gets paid. But while they work, the village also gets economic income. In this way, we invite the whole village into the program. And because the indigenous Jahais live in the village, they go back to the village every time after the patrol. We inculcate in them to actually explain to their villagers why their work is important and what they do. They don't just go to do work for the money or for wages, but they do work because they understand the conservation values, and they go back to their village and explain the conservation values, so that the village buys into the conservation, and the village also gets economic benefit from their youth working. So what we do is, this is during the Menrak. Menrak means people in the local language. Yeah, during their their convocation, you know, and so we get the kids involved with the Menrak, so that the kids look up to the elder brothers, and identify them as heroes looking after the wildlife. So we have programs with the Menrak in the villages, telling the kids, the communities, why their work is important. And you can see the result after 1.5 years. The whole village buys into the conservation. This is truly a community-based conservation program. So they come, they listen to conservation, and we bring the children out to follow their big brothers, to do camera traps, and you can see how enthusiastic these kids are. They will be the future Menrak wildlife patrollers in 5, 6, 7, 8 years' time. So we are instilling them early, and the buy-in is just tremendous. These are the kids with a camera trap. Besides that, we make sure the Menrak reach out to the other communities within the communities within Royal Belum by doing their own CSR work. You know, the Menrak has to show leadership, and here you see that they are distributing food to the other villages. So the other villages are looking at the Menrak team, not just a bunch of youth or guys going out patrolling, but they are taking leadership role, and they're really assisting the villages. So they are looked up as village heroes. So a final point is, I would like to say that all the work that we do in Royal Belum, we benchmark ourselves with the SDG goals, and the work and programs we do, out of the 17 SDGs, we hit 11 SDGs. But the most important that I want to mention here is SDG 17, which is partnership. For this Menrak to be successful, we have to thank the NGO Rimau. Rimau is a Malay word for tiger. Yeah? So the NGO Rimau helped the state park by raising funds to be able so that the orang aslis are able to be paid, their village are able to be paid, money for training, money for equipment, all comes from NGO Rimau. The state park can only train the orang aslis or the indigenous people, but partners like Rimau, partners like WWF that also do patrolling with us is critical to the success of protecting the Malayan tiger. Thank you, Sylvia.
Amazing. That was so good. Thank you so much. And that was very insightful. It's all good. You get a couple of extra minutes, don't worry. We are a little over, but I do want to ask you one question that has come through in the Q&A, because I think it is something that someone's curious about. Someone has submitted a question: is the present number of rangers adequate to effectively patrol and deter poaching activities in Royal Belum State Park at the moment?
Okay, for Royal Belum State Park, I can attest that we are the best protected state park in the whole of Malaysia. Why? Because we go into a collaborative partnership. We ourselves have about 50 rangers. WWF also has about 50 patrolling individuals. The Menrak has 30, and then we have other veterans, army, and other programs in. We've got about 120 rangers that is patrolling Royal Belum. And I don't think that is done anywhere else, that kind of collaborative effort. That is why last year, our poaching is almost zero. from hundreds and hundreds of snares every year, we were down to 5. And out of the 5, only 2 were active snares, meaning the other 3 were old snares, you know. So, and encroachment was all 0. We only had 1 encroachment. Now, if any poachers go into Royal Belum, within we will find you, because the syndicated poachers go in for a long period. They need to go in for 2, 3, even up to 5 months in order to set their snares, their traps before getting the result. So if you stay in Royal Belum more than 3, 4 days, my rangers will find you.
Amazing. That is very, very reassuring to hear. Thank you,
Right.
Shah, so much for your time today. And thank you so much for your work. It is very inspiring and so great to hear you're making such great grounds at the State Forest. So thank you, Shah. Thank you for today, and all the best. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.